I never consented to being in construction. I was like, I'm making good money. I was like, I have to stay here. I'm 14, 15, making twice as much as I would flipping burgers or bagging groceries. And so I thought I was just going to pay my way through college with that money, and coming up on 16, I was like, I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to save up for college. I'm going to put myself through school. I'm going to get out and I'm going to be a real person.
Cody, Sebastian, welcome to the Swords Day podcast. See if you shake hands. Probably sketchy. I know it hasn't been released yet, so you guys don't know what this is all about. But Sword and Spade magazine is primarily for men, fathers that are cultivating households and communities. So the sword is defense. Of course, we have to defend ourselves against things and be valiant men. And then the spade, though, is the work of cultivation of a local community and a household. So the reason I asked you guys on is that you're in my community. My children know you. We're still getting to know you, Cody. You have a trustworthy face. But you guys have, to put it simply, you come from good families, right? You're stable, mostly well-rounded individuals, mostly. And you have taken a crazy path, in modern times. It's probably unlike a lot of your peers. And you have done something that I know a lot of fathers are considering with their own children, which is, what are they going to do when they're done at home? And the predominant answer is go to college, get into this sort of managerial class, info work, and hopefully make a lot of money, right? Yeah. That's kind of the goal. That's like the purpose of our education. And that is being wildly upended like by the day with AI. It's been upended for a long time when it comes to the return on investment, that people are less sure that the money you invest, the money and time you invest into college, if we're just on economic terms, the money and time that you invested in, are you actually going to make that back? Mm-hmm. Or coming out with that kind of student debt, is that really how you want to live? So they're questioning that. And then they're questioning, well, what is good work and what might make me happy? So if you don't mind, I know some of the stories, but we need to connect the dots here, because to tell our listeners, you guys work on a framing crew. Mm-hmm. Now, you're the boss, right?
Yes.
Does he have a job title?
Not officially.
Okay. Does he have a nickname?
Do I?
I mean, I think we just call him Seba for short.
Well, in my phone, you're Seabass.
Yeah, we call him Seabass.
I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've earned a nickname yet.
Haven't earned it. He needs to be. Okay. Yeah. So you started, but did you guys kind of jump into construction at the same time? Or?
No.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were first.
I was first.
All right. So back up then. And how old are you, if you don't mind?
I am 21.
21. All right. And when did you start thinking about, maybe I want to start a framing company?
So I never really wanted to start a framing company.
Okay.
I had no ambitions. I never thought I would end up doing carpentry for the rest of my life.
Okay.
When I first got into it, I was approached by somebody at my former church. He just wanted to hire a hand, to pack sheets or whatever. And so I started with him in the summer. I was 12, and I worked a whole summer just framing a house. It actually turned out to be a house that his brother-in-law and his sister lived in for years until this year.
Really?
Yeah. But so I started with that, and then I just kept working summers. Every year I would just...
With the same guy or different
trades? Same guy.
Okay.
And then he didn't need me one summer, and another guy from the church that I was at just said, hey, do you want to come work for me this summer?
Okay.
Sure thing. But so I got into it at a young age just as a way to make money.
Okay. And you didn't grow up... Are you homeschooled? Were you...
I went to public school and private school, various different private schools, like growing up. But then I was homeschooled from 8th grade on.
You kept getting kicked out of school?
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
For what reason?
I was just aggressive.
aggressive.
Yeah, I
You
was.
seem so gentle.
Yeah, no.
Now I've been tempered.
Yeah.
Like you just smacked the kid in Foursquare, or
No, I would get in fights. I would
get in fights.
Yeah, I would get in
Really,
fights.
Cody?
Yeah, actually.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. He's going to need a nickname.
yeah.
Like the Incredible Hulk or something. He looks all gentle. All right, so when you weren't getting kicked out of school, you were out of school. You were doing framing and stuff. But your family's not like a construction family, or
My dad was in academia for most of his younger career, but now he's been in construction for 20 plus years at this point.
So he was a teacher.
Yeah,
like college.
Well, yeah, he was a food service manager, and he would had various jobs on campuses, and then he went back to school when he was almost 30.
Okay.
And so, but after that, when my family moved down here, my mom came here for medical school. He just started doing various stuff on the side, like a handyman.
Yeah.
And so he's been in construction for 20 years, and he still is. And so we would always get into it about stuff. We would always walk around neighborhoods and look at houses being built, and he would explain everything to me. So
that was my grandfather was a scientist, but my father's been in construction my whole life, and it's I don't know if you can relate to this. You actually I found you relate to the world differently than other people because you're not passive and like. Everything around you just exists. Like you sort of have an intelligible understanding of how it's made and what might be going wrong. And I remember just learning that sense from my dad that I didn't really pick up till later, my wife, but others, who just have no sense of like what. And that comes up when they're like, well, what do you think's wrong? I'm like, well, of course, you just go turn the valve off. And they're like, what's a valve? That like intuitive, active sense of things. Okay, so then your parents were not opposed to this 12-year-old framer.
no.
And was there ever a sense though? Did you ever think of like, well, maybe I'll get into construction because I'm not good at not being in fights at school, so maybe I won't be a good student? Or
No, I never consented to being in construction. I was like, I'm making good money. I was like, I have to stay. I'm 14, 15, making twice as much as I would flipping burgers or bagging groceries. And so I thought I was just going to pay my way through college with that money, and coming up on 16, I was like, I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to save up for college. I'm going to put myself through school. I'm going to get out and I'm going to be a real person.
Yeah.
Like,
get a real job.
Yeah, get a real job.
So you did have then, even going through, was it just ingrained in you? That's what you do. You go to college.
Not really. My parents were always really open and supportive of anything that I expressed interest in.
Really?
Yeah, they wanted me. I thought I was going to be in finance, and they're like, "If that's what you want to do, go do that."
Why did you want to be in finance?
I don't know. This what you said. Make a lot of money. Be a real person. Contribute to society. But so that, and my uncle's been in finance as long as I've known him, and he was the coolest guy in the world to me. Like ever since growing up, I was like, I'm going to be like him.
Okay, so you had an image in your mind.
Yeah. And so, as I got into it, I started to think, I was like, maybe I could do this. Like, maybe I really actually enjoy this.
Enjoy the framing.
Yeah. Because I'm geared, I have an engineer mentality, mindset. I like numbers. I like things that are, tangible.
Right.
So, and then that started to, framing and construction in general started to kind of satiate those desires to solve problems with real things, like you've been talking about. Like go turn the valve on. Yeah.
Or off.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So then, how far did you make it? Connect the dots here. The 12-year-old working through the summers. He's growing up. You're 16. You're getting a car. When was it like, I'm just going to keep doing this?
Yeah. So it was really during COVID.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like 2019.
So they said stay home, and you were like, nope.
Yeah. Yeah. So 2019, I found out that I could get trade credits. So I could use time on the job as, credits for school. And I was like, yeah, give me that. I'm not going to be in front of a book, So I was working 3 days a week.
Okay.
And then
for college credits.
Yep. And then the whole
and was
world,
the idea was you were still going to go to college? And
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And then the whole world shut down. Mm-hmm. And my boss was like, hey, I can hire you full time and I'll give you a $5 an hour raise. And I said, I'll be there. I'll be there.
You did a calculator and you're like, okay.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
And it was good money then.
Yep.
But you had built up rapport with him. He knew
Yeah.
you. He knew what he was hiring.
Yep.
All right. Does he express the same thing a lot of people do? Like, I can't find people to work.
Yeah.
So then he was willing to pay you.
Yep.
Yeah. That's just, it's fascinating to me how much work is out there when I hear people like confused at what they're going to do. It's like, probably just go work and be mildly reliable.
Yeah.
And you'll be okay. All right. So then wait, then when did you part ways with him? If you got hired, now you've got your own. What's the name of your company, by the way?
Atlas Construction.
Is that your
Yeah,
logo?
it is. Yeah, it is.
Really?
Shameless plug.
Man,
But,
that's wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Thanks.
That's cool. I see the little number 1 there.
Yeah.
+1 and 1. Yeah. All right. You said Atlas?
Yep.
Okay. Is that to be I don't even know if this is a thing anymore. When I was a kid, if you were going to start a business, you would start it with the letter A so that you were first in the phone book.
I don't know.
Yeah. People.
I don't think phone books exist anymore.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a phone book? You've seen
Yes,
a
I've seen a phone book.
It's amazing what things are like disappearing. If you're
Yeah.
like, what's a phone book? It's what you hit somebody with.
Yeah.
In the movies, just in the movies. All right. So, yeah, when did, this is a source story. It's going on the internet.
Yeah.
But, yeah, when did you part ways with?
It was after I got married.
Okay.
So that was 2 years ago. I kind of was getting exhausted, because from COVID to 2023 when I got married, more responsibilities came. The size of our crew quadrupled in that time. My position changed. I was a lead carpenter. I had the tools. I was dealing with the general contractors and project managers.
Is it residential?
Yeah, this is residential. But this was custom homes, so multi-million-dollar houses. And it was a lot. Yeah. It was a lot for me. And I was getting to the point where I was just kind of overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. Even though the money was good and I had a great teacher and I could go to him and ask him anything and he would give me a solid answer, I was just kind of like, you know what? Maybe this is when I'm going to go back to school or I'm going to go sell insurance or whatever I thought I was going to do.
I'm sorry, both of those sound like giving up. Like,
Yeah, I was like, I'm going
to go to school, I guess.
I'm going to go get a real job.
I'm going to go to school or sell insurance.
Yeah, yeah. And
it's just funny. I'm just going to, because when I was young, like all my friends that got into some sort of ministry when I was a Protestant, got into doing like Young Life and stuff. When they all were like, well, I can go get a real job. Like all of them sold insurance.
Yeah.
I guess it's a safe thing. Anyway. All right.
Everyone needs insurance.
That's right. It's a durable trade, I guess. All right. So you were kind of hitting, not rock bottom. You were burning out. You were burning out.
A little bit. Yeah.
Okay. And then you were just like, I think I can do this on my own.
It didn't shake out like that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it didn't shake out like that. I just realized that I had a wife now, and we still do live an hour away from where I work. And so I was like, this is a time for a change.
Yeah.
And I talked to her and she was like, well, you love it, don't you? I said, yeah, I do. And so when I came back and I talked to my boss after we got back from our honeymoon, and I said, I'm moving on. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's time for me to go. And so we both mutually agreed that moment was my last moment of employment for him. Mm-hmm. And
so you weren't happy about this?
No, not very. But I mean, I understand.
Yeah.
Somebody you've mentored for 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, and you're depending on him.
Yeah. In his mind, I could immediately be becoming his competition.
Yeah.
And so I had no plan. I had no plans for that. But then I told the guys that I work with, my crew, I was like, hey guys, I'm gone. And they're like, really? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, okay, we are too.
Whoa.
And I was like, what?
Turned into a mutiny.
Yeah. And they were like, what are you're going to go, you have work and stuff, right? And I was like, I have no work. I was like, I have nothing. And they're like, okay.
Let's go.
And so let's go. And so I had a full crew the day I, lost employment. And so I just had to figure something out.
I should have gone back to school for business planning.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, by the grace of God, work was provided for us.
Okay.
And we just took off from there. And I kind of rekindled a love that I did have for the trade. Mm-hmm. And the people around me really made it better, like Sebastian and everybody that works with us. They're all top-notch individuals, which I'm so grateful for.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I mean, one of the reasons I want you guys on here is I'm picking up, as I hear the stories, like you guys have a brotherhood of a crew. It's become more than an efficient means to an income.
Yeah.
And not having to sell insurance. If there's any insurance salesman out there, you're great. Danny, who's going to be listening to this, is a great guy. Okay, so that, and then basically you got to there, and that's where you are now, that same crew, basically, with some changes.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a sense where you like, did you have to convince yourself that this was worthwhile? Like, I'm not going to go and get I'm not going the real path, college and a bigger job. Do you ever feel like, because I'm going to, here, let me ask, I'll put it in this way. I have this book. I don't know if you guys have read this book or heard
I've read most of it.
Shop Classes, Soul
It's been a while,
Craft.
though.
Matthew Crawford, he's sort of philosopher meets motorcycle mechanic. I want to see what you think about this section. Today in our schools, the manual trades are given little honor. The egalitarian worry that has always attended tracking students into either college prep and vocational ed is overlaid with another. The fear that acquiring a specific skill set means that one's life is determined. In college, by contrast, many students don't learn anything of particular application. College is a ticket to an open future. Craftsmanship entails learning to do one thing really well, while the ideal of the new economy is to be able to learn new things. I underline this, celebrating potential rather than achievement. Yeah. Somehow every worker in the cutting edge workplace is now supposed to be like an intrapreneur. That is, to be actively involved in the continuous redefinition of his own job. Kind of the opposite of being determined. Yeah. Just like always reinventing. Shop Class presents an image of stasis that runs directly counter to what Sennett, this author he's quoting, identifies as, quote, a key element in the new economy's idealized self, the capacity to surrender, to give up possession of an established reality. I won't keep going, but what he's describing is this determined, when you're a craftsman, you're learning you're becoming better and better at one thing, which he actually differentiates from just specialization later, because of the way we won't have time to get into it, but the way it actually just exists and operates. But we won't get into that. But you said at the beginning of this, you're like, well, I didn't know I'd be doing this the rest of my life. And there might be people listening like, he's 21. What does he know? Your options are open. And, which I guess is obviously is still true. But you seem to be at peace with being determined.
Yeah,
like absolutely. To have a determined craft.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and you've never felt like, I'm typecasted. This is what I am now.
Yeah, no.
A super happy, competent, married young man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, any of the doubts or reservations that I've had were about the business. They weren't necessarily about the craft, because the craft is something that, I mean, if you think about it, being determined to do one thing opens up avenues for you to work on yourself. If you go and you work on something every day, you learn so much about yourself by how you learn, how you handle yourself when you really, really mess up. Yeah. Things like that. It's like the trade teaches you as much as you can learn the trade. Right. If that makes any sense.
Absolutely. It's formative. No. It's formative as it. It's almost the Catholics, we use the word vocation to talk about our calling, right? And when schools, like particularly public school, when they say vocation, they mean like the trades. Yeah. Wendell Berry, one of my favorite authors, he sort of blends them, that there are things that you are suited to that are a vocation that's more than vocation on the sense of the work you do, but like there is a sense of I am suited and like called to this craft, and it's wrapped up like your story is completely wrapped up with marriage and family and place. I mean, you wanted to be closer to home and with your wife, right, and on a human scale, but also within this craft that you had learned to love. So other than your boss being mad about you quitting, it's worked out pretty well. So then, all right, but that's where you are now. That you started that company, Atlas A+, and that's still going. Yeah. All right. Sebastian, Sebas. Yes. We're gonna have some great new nicknames maybe at the end of this.
Well, I mean, there are jokes that are attributed to me, but I don't think any of them have stuck as a nickname.
Okay, we'll see what we can do. All right. Well, you guys make sure you lean into these microphones. Yeah, not too far. All right. So your upbringing is you were completely homeschooled, right? Until
I went to private school for a couple of years, like kindergarten through to second grade, and then homeschooled up till ninth grade, and I went to private high school for my high school years.
Okay. Oh wait, you guys knew each other, right? When you were kids,
In middle school.
Yeah.
middle school.
For like a year.
Did you get in a fight?
No, we played basketball
It's
together.
a very funny story. So
Okay.
I was homeschooled. Were you homeschooled at that time too?
I was, yeah.
Okay. So we were both homeschooled, and we played for a homeschool basketball team, Trailblazers. And I knew him vaguely on the team. Like, he was kind of annoying.
Okay.
He was very different in terms of his interests, so I didn't really know him that well. And never saw him again after that year, or at least so I thought, until I see him at my sister's wedding, where he's best man for my brother-in-law.
Okay.
And I connect the dots and ask him, what are you doing here?
And you're like, remember that time I dunked on you?
Yeah. No, we were both bench warmers, apparently.
Yeah. I just made fun of his music taste. That's the only thing I remember. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
That's okay. I didn't
we're
like
gonna
yours
get into that.
either.
Well, are you staying around for music tonight?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. So listeners, though, we're going to hang around and jam on the front porch tonight. All right. Well, we won't talk about music taste yet unless we get bored.
Yeah. Exhaust all other conversation topics.
No, this is really important.
What do you listen to?
Because I know your family. You know, you're good. I mean, you guys were actually, we didn't see when we moved here. There was like apparently some other family that we would never see.
Yeah.
You guys are kind of the other direction.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, we're up the mountain.
Yeah, up the mountain. We're down
We're standing
the mountain.
down, looking down on you.
Yes. I can
Standing up,
feel
looking
the
down.
noses high. But you know, your dad, Duke business grad.
Yeah.
Your mom's
Yeah,
well educated. Right? I guess she is.
No, she is. They both, I think. Well, my dad has a master's
Yeah.
in
Business finance.
business. Yeah.
From Duke.
My mom has, I think, a bachelor's in French.
Okay.
And my dad has like a bachelor's in German. or
We're
something.
not
I
going
don't
to
know.
take about the intimidating nature of your mother's.
I know. So they're both very, very smart people.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And what we're equating that smartness. I actually
Yeah,
want to bring it.
don't
Well,
group me just because I'm their
No,
son.
no. Actually, I want to bring up I'm not going to. But basically, he talks about how we imbibe, like we receive this idea of what smart means,
Right.
To be equating with going to school. Now,
So,
your parents are also well rounded, so
Yeah.
we'll just
Yeah.
not analyze your parents because
No.
they might be listening. We'll
They
do
probably
that.
well, they might.
We'll do that later when they're not listening.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Jennifer. I'm just kidding. But you guys, I mean, I would say just the basic value of education, right, that we picked up. I mean, Cannon Gate is even, when you were there was, I was on the board. And,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, we're bragging about, prepping students for college,
Yeah.
So when was it, maybe, so it's kind of surprising, I guess. I've known
Yeah.
you since, I'm not going to bring up when you were young and chubby. I've known you for a while, and I don't remember when it was when all of a sudden, like, I don't know if you had some boots on, like, Sebastian's doing construction, or
Yeah.
something, and so when did that kind of start picking up in your mind?
Well, I mean, I started working construction the summer after I graduated. So it's only been about 2 years, maybe a little bit more, since I've worked construction.
Okay.
But I had done like woodworking classes back in high school with a furniture maker in Hendersonville. And he was excellent, great teacher. I took a couple courses with him, and I loved it. And after I finished the courses, I went over a few times because he would need help on projects, and I'd go work for him now and again. And I always, if I think back about it in retrospect, I've always enjoyed working with my hands and doing active work.
Right.
I mean, there's a story my mom likes to tell of when we had a co-op, and it was like right after my birthday, and I had gotten a foldable shovel as a gift, and everyone had gathered after recess to go back to class, and I wasn't there. My mom didn't know where I was, and she looked out the window, and I was like way across the other side of the field, transplanting a tree with my foldable shovel. Which, I mean, is a silly story, but I think...
No, you like doing things.
I like doing things. And I wasn't very, very proficient in school. I got by, but I enjoyed geometry quite a bit. Even though I'm not terribly good at it, I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to sort of see the real world applications of that math in framing.
I enjoy a lot of things I'm not good at. But.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of had that proclivity to work with my hands before, and then as I was gearing up to graduate, I was thinking about school, but as you said, like I wasn't enamored by the idea of going to school and not, because I didn't really have a plan, and I didn't want to try to take out loans.
Yeah.
I mean, because of my grades, I wasn't going to be able to get a huge scholarship. But I didn't find that appealing.
Yeah. And the idea of, you even said like the idea of going because I don't have a plan, where some people, the idea is you go without a plan and then
you make the plan, which
it's this portal to anything, you know?
Exactly. But I thought as I was closing up, I was basically my idea was I'm going to take a gap year, and I'll see what happens then. I didn't really want to go to college, and through one of my classmates, she was a lower classman, but I knew their family somewhat, and her dad was a general contractor, and so I went to him, asked him if I could have a job right after high school, and he gave me a job, and I started working for him. It was a great job. I really love working for him. I mean, you
were working with a former teacher at that time too. Was he there yet?
No, he was not there yet. Okay. But I worked with him for a little over a year. So not a super long time, but it was formative because I had never been in the construction world before.
Okay.
And the guys that he had on his crew were very helpful in terms of teaching me. And he was very helpful in leading me through, and he was very patient with me. Coming from, really all the work I had done up to that point was part-time jobs in food service,
right,
or farmhand type work. And so I worked with him for about a year, and I enjoyed it. But near the end of last year, I kind of realized that the work I was doing seemed to be stagnant, if that makes sense, in terms of developing some skills.
Okay.
The way I like to put it is working for a general contractor, in my experience, is you do everything for the general contractor. So you kind of become, jack of all trades, master of none. But it was nice.
So you were doing a lot of things.
I was doing a lot of things. So
carpentry.
1 week we'd be drywalling a house, and the week after that, we'd be roofing a different house, and the week after that we would be, pouring concrete. The week after that we'd be retiling the bathroom or something.
Right.
So I had a lot of exposure, which I loved, and that's kind of what I wanted going in. Is I wanted to be exposed to a lot of different things, and I was. I had already had some carpentry skills going in, which so I knew that I knew some of that, and I enjoyed it. But I wanted to be exposed to more. And so after that year, I'd realized, I kind of want to pursue one thing in particular, and I want to try to become good at a particular aspect of construction.
You
and
be determined.
Yeah, I wanted to be determined. I didn't like the feeling of kind of floating around and not being able to say that I know how to do this completely and fully. Just sort of, I know enough. Bits and pieces.
Yeah, right.
So around that time, let's see, that would have been, had Bradley, had they moved yet?
No.
Well, around that time, it kind of lined up. I remember I would talk to my brother-in-law kind of about that issue I have, that I had. And he pointed me to Cody. He was like, well, just go ask Cody for a job. Mm-hmm. If you want to do framing, if you want to, try something, just go ask him for a job. And I was, I kind of shrugged it off. I was like, okay,
yeah,
maybe I'll go ask him at some point. And then I hadn't seen Cody that much, and we started hanging out a little bit more. And then I remember I introduced him to my former boss.
Okay.
And basically said, I know a framing crew that, does really good work. Maybe you have some more jobs for them. And so I got him a few jobs, I guess, through my boss.
So then you had some more interaction.
Yep. Yes, I had some more interaction. And around November, I think I I kind of wanted to make that move. So I told my boss that what I was thinking about, and that I wanted to try my hand at something particular. And he was supportive. I think, he was sad to see me go, which felt good, because that means, at least I was,
you don't ever want to quit and someone say, well, good riddance. Good
yeah, exactly.
I don't have to do it.
Yeah. So, but I left on really good terms with him.
Yeah.
And he hired me on, would have been last December.
Okay. Yeah. And you guys, so I'm telling you from the outside, because Sebastian and I have a heart attack every Sunday, which is a sandwich.
Not a real one.
Not a real one. It's a sandwich with lots of. Oh, actually, you've moved on to other sandwiches, but we'll talk about that off the air. We'll talk. And I've been listening to him, like, just showing me the stuff you guys are working on, and like what I'm observing is you're sort of cultivating a culture amongst yourselves. You have a brotherhood that has gone beyond an efficient crew to get something done, to be profitable. I think actually you have like things that we don't think about in economics anymore, which is the intertwining of economics and community, which should be intertwined. We'll literally, naturally they are. Yeah. But we live in a time where it's like dangerous to try to intertwine these things, because then you have to be just all the time and maybe even loving with things like work and money. So I'm just watching it. It seems like, man, it's like making you happy. Yeah. So an interesting thing, I don't know if you guys have, I want to ask you about also evangelization and sort of a different understanding of how the faith and when we talk about sword and spade, like how cultivating a place and a rootedness and then a work there, what the actual effect has been. Because I'm watching it unfold. Like there's these ideas that I know from studying and reading in my own experience, but I'm kind of watching it unfold. And one of them is your family, Sebastian, being rooted in a place pretty firmly. Yeah. To the extent now, since we moved here, so we're from North Carolina, but we moved to this area in 2012, and we started going to the Murray Easter party like a long time ago. Yeah. We're Easter party OGs, and there's a bunch of kids running around, and now those kids have kids.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
And then when your grandma shows up, there's 4 generations at an Easter party, and and it just like hit me like, wow, you guys are grown up. And then the effect of that stability of your family has also been its influence as just an influence, right? Not some sort of like evangelization engine.
Yeah, but just the fact that it's rooted in a place.
It's rooted and it's something that you can enter, right? So I don't know if you've experienced, Cody, like going, hey, whatever this thing, like this Catholic thing, because we haven't said this yet, but you're a recent convert to the church, to look at it and go, that's something to enter. That's actually, this isn't just information that I'm convinced, right? Apologetics, I'm going to join this nebulous non-community, which is what my experience converting was. It's true, I'm going in, and the community was awful. I mean, it was another story. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because you mentioned in this the connection of people telling you, why don't you go talk to him and talk to him and talk to him. And one of them is, Bradley, your brother-in-law, who married your sister, who now lives down the hill from your childhood home on the same property. Suggests, and he converted. Yeah. Before they got married, as they were getting married? After they got married.
After they got married, and he had not converted yet. It was still in the process.
In the process. And I would say, I had talked to him over the years, seeing, and it's like
and it was bound to happen when you're around that many Catholic people.
One, we know Catholicism true. So eventually, if you open your mind a little bit, like don't even open the door if you don't want her to come in, right? Yeah. She's just a big, wieldy woman. She's coming in, in the door, right? So she's just true. I've been thinking about writing about working in areas of evangelization for so long, and one of the things I think that's underappreciated is the power of communal life and just being able to say, come join us. Yeah. As opposed to, hey, can we get lunch sometime? I want to talk to you about contraception. It's like, no, come join us and like feel and know the love and the stability. It's just very human. And your family, so Bradley has come in the church. And then didn't Bradley have some influence, Cody? Yeah. So what was that?
Well, we had gone to church together as long as I can remember.
Okay. Is it his uncle that's like the preacher?
It is his uncle that is the preacher there. And so I had seen him my whole life, pretty much. And he was, we became friends. I was really young. I was 14 or 15. And, he was my age. Mm-hmm. He was 21 or something. And we were just hanging out after church. And we started to really hit it off. So we've been friends for almost 10 years, something like that, 8 years. And one time he told me, he was like, dude, I'm dating this Catholic girl. I hadn't seen him for like 6 months. And he's like, dude, I'm dating this Catholic girl. I'm going to marry her. And I was like, you're an idiot. And Catholicism is so not true. And it's so not okay. And he was like, dude, listen to me. He's like, you got to come to Mass with me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. And, I wasn't a minister. At one point, I thought I was going to be a minister.
Yeah.
But, I wasn't a slouch either.
Yeah.
So I was trying to fight him pretty hard.
Yeah.
Especially, being your friend, the little, healthy competition. Like, you're so stupid. I'm going to disprove you.
This is going to be easy.
Yeah, this is going to be so easy. And then, I went to Mass and had so many questions. And
wait, hold on. No, you didn't just go to Mass. Didn't you go to the Easter Vigil?
I went to the Christmas Vigil, Christmas Eve.
Yeah, okay, like a midnight Mass?
Like a midnight Mass.
Okay.
At the Basilica
That's a great
of
first Mass to go to.
Yeah. At the Basilica of St. Lawrence in Asheville, which is one of the most beautiful churches I've ever been in. And
the denomination you're coming from, it's not like liturgical. There's no art.
No.
So this was intense.
Yeah, this was intense
for the senses.
Yeah. Coming into it, it was like Catholicism is a dead faith. Mm-hmm. That's that was a talking point most of the time.
Yep.
And I got there and I saw 2 priests and a big incense. Swinging incense. I was freaking out.
Yeah.
I was like, smells, bells, Jesus, Peter, Paul on the wall. Mary, Joseph. I was like, what's going on? So through that, the Lord worked with me.
Yeah.
Like, especially through the beauty of that, of the liturgy.
Struggling with the beauty.
Yeah. And in the confusion of what was going on with communion.
And how are you,
And
how are you guys okay with this?
Yeah.
I remember when I was converting, going to the Basilica, it's a lot in Wilmington, North Carolina, St. Mary's. And it's a lot like, it's kind of that big dome. It's amazing. I think it's the biggest only brick structure.
Yeah, it's the biggest unsupported dome.
Unsupported
in
brick
some
dome.
Yeah.
Dang.
And when you hear that, you're kind of like, it's probably going to hold, right? Yeah. But I remember going, that's so amazing. But that's a statue of a saint. Like, how do you guys not see that this is pagan?
Yep.
I mean, how do you not see? But then you're sort of caught off guard with beauty. Yeah. And it's kind of hard to wrestle with. All right. So you went to Mass with him, and that just, you left with more questions, or?
Yeah, I left with a lot more questions.
But he wasn't converting yet. So he was.
No, he actually wasn't converting yet, which was.
But he's just like, you need to see that I'm not they're not as, and that's that foot in the door thing.
Yeah.
Because Katie and my wife, we're always talking about, when we talk to our Catholic friends, like, oh, just let your kids go to the Protestant church, like that. It's just ecumenical. And I was like, listen, you weren't even Christians to us.
Yeah.
You were a dead, obviously heretical, horror Babylon. Yeah. Like, you're not even worth considering. Yeah. It's not even. You can consider anything, In fact, when a family member called me and said she was going to become a Catholic, and I said, it was my mom, and this was before I was Catholic, and our stories are actually not related except for grace and God and truth. But she called and she's like, oh, I'm going to be joining a church you're really going to disapprove of. And I was like, what, the Mormons or something? And she said, no, worse. But we're always telling them, listen, you're not even on the radar.
Yeah.
As a viable option of being Christian.
Are you saying the Protestant view, Catholicism isn't even on the? Okay.
No, thank you, and you can affirm this, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's odd for you to say stuff like both of you are converts, and I grew up Catholic, so it's interesting to hear. When
you're a Protestant of a certain sort, right? So I'm not talking like Episcopalian or something, but of a certain sort, and you say Catholic, they hear, in their imagination, in their gut, their intuition is basically non-Christian.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there. And unless they've met some and they go, well, there's a couple real believers in there, but it's because they have a sincere faith in Jesus, not because of Catholicism itself. So that I'm relating to you on that. All right. So you go to Mass and have some questions.
Yeah. And I love what Chesterton says. He says the first step of conversion is treating the Catholic position fairly.
Yeah.
And so I resolved to listen to Catholics for the first time in my life. You know, I didn't know any before that. And my best friend, I thought I was going to lose my best friend. I was like, dude, you're going to go to hell. I was like, I can't believe this. This is crazy. And I mean,
when he was maybe thinking about it.
Yeah. When he said, I'm going to marry one. And, so we were
I'm gonna marry one of them. I don't know how I know him. I'm gonna marry one.
I'm gonna marry one of them. And he still had questions too.
Yeah.
And so I kind of took a step back. I mean, he got married. It was beautiful. You know, I talked to the priest that married them a few times, not, you know, one-on-one, but I asked him some questions after Mass, which was probably incredibly irreverent. It was Father Becker.
Okay.
But yeah, and then after that, I met my wife. And I was like, I'm going to get married. I'm going to chill on all this Catholic stuff. It's whatever. They're probably Christians, but I don't think I need to be Catholic.
Yeah. I'm good.
And then, yeah, the Lord just worked on me. And I kept reading stuff, especially Protestant stuff. And then I got a book, Letters to a Young Catholic. Mm-hmm. And I read that. And even though I wasn't even thinking about becoming Catholic, and the Lord just like moved on me. Yeah. And then I started attending daily Mass on Fridays. No, I'm serious. I did. Every week I would go.
It's escalating. Yeah.
Yeah, I would go on Fridays and I would just like come out, ask more questions, talk to people above me in the church that I was at, ask them questions, and they didn't really have great answers, you know? And so, yeah, my wife and I, after we got married, about a year after, I was like, babe, I think we need to become Catholic. Mm. And so then we started she was like, whatever, I trust you. I'll follow you. Yeah. You know, right now, as long as it doesn't get too crazy. So we started to go to Mass on Saturdays and then going to my church on Sundays. And we did that for almost a year.
Yeah. You know, we did when we did the same thing, we were engaged. I think we were engaged. If we weren't, it was getting service. And we went to our little like Calvinist. It was kind of a like cloaked non-denominational. Yeah. Like, you know, there's a lot of PCA that are pretending to be non-denominational. I'm like, come on, man, you're just in a movie theater. But we were going to one of these, meeting in this school. It was the cool young hip thing outside of Chapel Hill, and we were going to both of them. And as we were having these questions, we were going to, you know, some of our Protestant friends. And when you start, you're like, Catholics cannot answer these questions. Yeah. Which, I mean, I would say your average Catholic can't, but Catholicism can, right? If you can give it a fair shake and find somebody who knows it or get a book. So then you start getting these challenges, and then we would go back to our Protestant friends who were so sure about what the church taught and the understanding of things. And then you go back with a little bit of a challenge, and you realize they don't know what the church teaches. And then we did exactly what you did. So then we're, you know, like our firmness and like how easy it is to dismiss Catholicism is going away. Yeah. And then we started going to both. We would go to I don't know if we went to the I think we did both like on Sunday, like early Mass and then like the 11 o'clock.
Wow.
And there was this moment, Cody, that when we stopped going to the Protestant church, and the pastor had stood up and he told this story about this woman who had made a comment about angels. And so he was bringing up angels, which was interesting because as a Protestant, you're not like talking about guardian angels and things. And this woman had said something about a guardian angel that now at this point, I'm like, you know, it was a pretty reasonable thing to think that, you know, our Lord talks about our guardian angels. And everyone bursts out laughing at this woman's comment about the angels. And at that, it was like this. I don't know if you've ever been in a room where you realize I no longer belong here. Yeah. It was like the communion was broken. Yeah. And and he was laughing and they were all laughing, and there was all of a sudden, and they were sincere, good, loving people, but all of a sudden that moment, their presumption against it was like this ugly pride and this it was false. And it was like, I guess we're not coming back here anymore. Yeah. You know, and then we started just going to Mass. So yeah, so you did that for a year, and then the shoe dropped. Yep.
And I mean, that all sounds really easy.
No, it's not.
The whole process was not easy. No, and no, I know exactly what you're saying.
Well, the hardest part for us, which is I think has been much better for you, is that we left a vibrant, long-lasting community and joined like kind of a mega parish of like just modern suburban. Like, does anyone talk to anyone here, and does anyone know anyone? And,
right.
and hi, my name, and then the church, we were even like annoying to our parish because it's kind of a liberal place. Yeah. And I remember the first time I went to RCIA, someone goes, well, why are you here? Why do you want to join the church? And I think it's the one true church. No, you can't say that. It's offensive. I am the Protestant in the room. Yeah. Okay, so I know it's been harder, but you have experience, and this is what I was actually bringing up roundabout to the question is the broader community. There is a people here that you can belong to.
Absolutely.
Right? That it gives that human, that necessary element of our faith, which a lot of us miss, is that we belong to a body. Yep. Right? When you're initiated into the church, you're initiated into a body, the body of Christ, and church visible on earth. And I would say because of the presence of your family, like their stability, like multiple generations, that actually has a, it's the effect on Bradley and now the effect on Cody, and then we'll convert all the heretics before you know it, just by staying put.
Yeah, I mean, it's had a effect on a lot of different people. Yeah, for sure.
But you guys aren't. I mean, you're not handing out tracts at your party. It's just
no. That's what you're saying. It's not that we're going out and preaching on the street or something. It's just I think the simple fact of just witnessing to the fact that we're a large Catholic family that's been staying in one place for as long as I've been around. Yeah, or majority of my life.
And I'm certainly not putting it in opposition if somebody was out preaching. My point is a lot of times what we don't value, and I don't think you were either. But I'm saying what we don't value is the importance of retention. We're talking on business terms. Yeah. That a lot of people we talk so much about evangelization. Yeah. That what we don't recognize is how few of our own children and people we retain. Yeah. And so this story has two elements to it when it comes to like a stable community, which is a family that has a high retention. But then because you two are still here, that has made our community more viable in its retention. Yeah. Because by not being exported into the portal somewhere else, which is what college often is. Yeah. You're still here. And I can't tell you like what that means for, my kids, the viability of the culture we're living. So when we go play music tonight, this people, we're all not just we're not just cohabitating in this place. We're bound to a particular place. And that has an effect. And that's why I'm relating these two things. The fact that you chose to stay, and even you, I don't want to work an hour away, that it matters.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's so against sort of the modern mindset, which is, it's just leave where your parents live, go
That's the
out.
sign of success.
Yeah, is that you go to a big city or,
Yeah, well, the way we're articulating is I'm not trying to be opposed to someone leaving. I'm just saying the ordinary, though, if we're going by human nature, just the commandments of God, things like honor your parents means take care of them. The order of things is that it should be ordinary to presume that where you were born is where God wants you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it should be extraordinary to think he wants you somewhere else. We have the opposite. You guys are now extraordinary by staying put, and the ordinary is to leave. I like to quote the, what the Onion is? The fake news. Yeah. There's like, the headline was something, like, stupid and happy man contented in his hometown or something. Okay, so then I want to bring up a couple of things. One, there's been an explosion of these small, like Catholic trade schools. Mm-hmm. You applied to one.
I did.
Didn't get in.
I applied to two, actually. I got into one of them.
You did?
I at that point, I wanted to stay here. Yeah. And I just felt content being here and working and learning because I was learning. But
my wife kind of knew that story, and she said, you should bring up that for a lot of people, because they have the mindset, I've got to go to school to do whatever I'm going to do. If you don't get into one of these trade schools, it doesn't mean you can't get into the trade.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can do what you guys did, which is go work.
OTJ.
And you
I got a teacher here, and
you've got to pay
him. He pays me.
Well, you guys, that's right. He pays me to learn. Yeah. Instead of paying to learn, what are we doing? Yeah. But you guys also, both of you in your stories mentioned having mentors and people guiding you. Yeah. So there are traditional ways like apprenticeships and things that you can get in. So I'm just bringing up that for some people, I had another guy in Florida, and he didn't get in same school. And that's when I started calling Jacob, like, dude, I thought I knew you.
Well, it has such a small. It's a small class going. Well, and it was a lot of people that wanted to go to St. Joseph's.
Yeah. Man, it's a lot, and all these.
I think it's great. My friend got in. He's there now, and Yeah, he tells me great things about it.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good. I guess my point is that I'm for and excited about those things, but I think we should not forget
Yeah.
that you can just go to work.
Yeah.
Right in your home.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you guys ever heard of this book?
No.
No.
Durable Trades. So Rory Groves, he's a friend. He wrote this. Gosh, I don't know. It's been a while, and some of it's already been disrupted because of AI. But his point was what we've experienced in the last like generation or two, not that long, is an explosion of all sorts of expertise in the like kind of data information industries and service industries, and that we have been funneling our kids into the schools so that they can join this sort of globalizing economic reality. It has worked for a lot of people, and a lot of people are perfectly contented. So we try not to
cast
judgments, but also making an observable thing that it's not making all of us happy.
Yeah.
It's also not preserving communities well, because as I think people always say, well, of course I want a good Catholic culture. It's like, but if we export every generation and every family is a diaspora of itself,
Yep.
then we don't have I think the defining characteristic of a culture should at least be it can pass on to someone.
Yeah, if everyone's a good Catholic culture, but no one sticks around to make it happen, then it's never
why
gonna
make
happen.
a Catholic culture?
Yeah.
We my wife and I were having a conversation with somebody, and they go, oh, well, there's nothing here. And it's like, well, hell, let's all just leave then. Like, there's nothing here for the kids. I'm like, well, what are we then to one another?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you mean there's nothing here? We're here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. But that's been a conversion I've had to have, just observing that, like you said, if we're cultivating a culture and no one's here to enjoy it, what are we doing? Who's it for? You know,
Well, I was saying if everyone wants a culture, I mean, you have to make it happen.
Yeah.
You can't just want it.
Yeah.
And you can run around and try to find it, but
Yeah. Well, I use the word.
then you're leaving where you were born. You're doing exactly this, the kind of a similar thing.
Yeah.
You're going out to find something that you should maybe work on building.
Yeah.
Where
Well,
you
I would
live.
say culture is begotten, not made. And it comes from commitment.
Okay.
For a long time, I've thought about, well, we've got to, build and work into these things, which is true, but it's actually just being committed. It's like a marriage. Wendell Berry, he calls the way our communities are now is cohabitating, which is we're here, we're enjoying each other until something better comes along, or we stop enjoying one another, in which case we can sever what we're doing.
Yeah.
As opposed to a marriage, right? Which is we're in.
Yeah.
And I think we need to start thinking about communities more of we're in. I want, I want you guys around my kids because I don't want them to have just coordinators for programs that I'm going to drop them off. Like I want them to have a community of uncles.
Yeah.
I want them to just be surrounded by uncles. So to do that, Roy wrote this book called Durable Trades, and he was saying, he's trying to recover the productive home, especially like work that integrates with family life. And so he rates all these jobs, let's see, and their durability. So when I was in high school, the job to get was to be in coding.
Yeah.
And at this point, that would be a terrible decision because AI can code way faster than you. And basically the rapid advance of these things, they're just going obsolete endlessly. Now, I know people say, well, creative destruction, something will take its place. And I don't know.
Yeah.
But there are people that you guys are right, that are contented and happy to do things that probably won't ever be AI-able or robotable, or in a way that we would want. And people just still have an intuitive. Would you like a craftsman to build your house? Yes. They have that sense. But the durable tradesman, it's probably going to be around. So there's one example though where he might be wrong, and here he has, and it's not all just like farmer and stuff, but it's a lot of crafts. But he also has in here lawyer, doctor, but lawyers and doctors are even. The other day I had a friend, he typed in, pretend you're this kind of lawyer to AI and give me like a brief or whatever it's called to argue this case. And it spit out the most brilliant, and another lawyer looked at it and goes, yeah, that's perfect. So there's some that and then with doctors being able to narrow down what's wrong with somebody by talking to a robot.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully we'll value the human element and all of that, but that will be by effort. Society doesn't have a lot of logic against advancements of things.
Yeah.
But reality has a logic against AI is probably not going to become a carpenter, And if they're building our houses, I mean, what are we going to do? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, people are like, yo, you should get a robot to milk your cows. I'm like, if I could get a robot to drink it, then we'd be really happy.
Yeah.
All right. So, but he has in here. So a durable trade is something that you probably have a patron saint that did the same job. That means it's durable. Like, it's probably not going to go anywhere. So you guys have St. Joseph and Jesus, of course. But so I'm just going to.
Patron saint.
That's right. So I'm just going to tell you guys about this, see if you have any comments or that you would, and really just even advice. But so he rates them, all these trades: 1, historical stability, resiliency, family centeredness, income, and ease of entry. I'm going to see if you guys would agree with his assessment of, he's got these cool little charts and stuff. You should get this book too. This one has been left out in the weather quite a bit. All right, so for historic stability, he's like, Jesus was a carpenter.
Yeah.
And they're still carpenters. So do you guys foresee, I mean, any big changes? I know you've got some opinions on build. I mean, I don't know if it's time to get into it now, and like where harnessing people's need for homes for profitability, which is what a lot of these big companies have done, in the negative aspect of that.
Yeah.
But are you still feeling like the way things are going, this is or are you seeing things, or I mean, the stability of it all?
I think we will always have a job.
Okay.
I think your large residential communities, the suburbs, the apartment houses will be streamlined based on utility.
Yeah. And that's got to end sometime.
Yeah.
I mean, these pop-up houses are so not great anyway.
No.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it's probably 3D printing suburban houses pretty soon. They're already doing it, in a few parts of the country.
yeah, like concrete toothpaste stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
That,
Yeah. Or pre-panelization where you have factory workers building entire houses and then you have a crane day.
Yeah.
And you just put it all together.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, even my father's a plumber.
Yeah.
And he even says, when he was, I remember being under a house with him and watching him like sweat copper pipe, do the soldering. And he says now they're making everything to basically take the craft out of it.
Yeah, it's all pecs,
pop it all together.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're just making
you still got to do pecs, but even now, like the fittings and things, like it's the guesswork, i.e. the human craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Carpentry seems somewhat protected from that.
I think so.
Yeah.
Except maybe the paneling. I mean, if because I have some people I've heard say, it's an industry ready for disruption.
Yep.
Which is code words for we're going to destroy people's, the way
jobs,
we've done it before.
Yeah.
And now I know there are arguments back and forth, but I disagree. I'm actually a literal Luddite. When do you know what that word comes from?
No,
Well,
I don't.
it refers to someone who's against technology, but that's not actually the case.
Does it come from the which
it's a historic reality.
Yeah.
It was when the
Luddites.
The
the
Luddites came in
into the factories
and broke the looms.
Really?
Of the capitalists, they call them, the capital will come in with their looms and take it. And the reason they did it is they weren't saying I'm against technology. They were saying this will destroy our way of life.
Yeah.
And there was a logic to it. And this is the Amish don't eschew technology because they're scared of it. Their first question is, what does it do to our way of life?
Yeah.
So, but you foresee big changes in how that's done. But does that open up more opportunity for people doing custom homes or?
I think so. Yeah, I do think so. But like what you said about profits, I think even if it did streamline the industry, it would still cost the consumer the same price.
Yeah.
I think it would just...
Because they're not going to lower the price. They're going to pocket the money.
It's going to increase somebody's margin.
Right.
So I think we'll get to the point where people who really want a home want people to build their home rather than a corporate building company, which is what's happening across the country right now.
And not to mention to build a house, it's not just a corporation, but the banks actually control whether or not you build a house.
100%.
So in theory, in the United States, everyone has a right to build their own home.
Yeah.
But in practice, if the bank's not backing it, and then the whole kind of world of contracting and all of that, those things are mutually beneficial to one another in ways that I think we've discussed are probably not great. So they might make it more efficient. Homes aren't going to get cheaper, but there might be a niche in. I mean, I think if there's ways that we can just start building houses again and find those, loopholes legally and find the creative ways to just say, you know what, we're just going to start building each other's houses again.
Yeah.
That craft would become more valuable because you two have the skill and the desire and the stamina to build your own houses,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
but you can't.
Yeah.
So there's an injustice there.
I think you're trying, right?
We are trying, but we're still trying to figure out what you're talking about.
Yeah.
A creative way
Yeah.
to do it,
But it's not because you don't know how. That's my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And it's the. All right, so stability is still pretty good. He rates it at 76%. It's pretty high. It's on a 100. 100% is like not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So resiliency. So to changing markets, he puts 78%. Maybe this is kind of what you were talking about now. He said, with one notable exception, carpentry is highly resilient, meaning it's not just not going to change that much.
Yeah.
The vast majority of work for carpenters comes through residential construction and remodeling. And industry is highly affected by recessions, however, but that they pass. People get back to work. And that seems to be, it's not like a luxury item that goes away. People want to live. Okay. Now this is one I didn't get that high on. It rated way higher than a lot of the other trades, but family-centeredness. And that's just that the fact of the matter is you really can't bring small kids onto a job site and effectively watch them or build something.
Yeah.
You have to choose between the two.
Yeah.
That's been your experience. You said, wives don't show up on the job site. It's just.
Nope. I wouldn't want my wife to show up and see me standing on the 2x4 wall, So
That's right.
Walking the ridge.
Oh, man, you should have seen me when we were building our house. So we did like 60%, I don't know, of the work. We did not do the framing. And, but like we did the block fill when we were doing the foundation.
Yeah.
And man, the guys that brought the pump truck there, I was putting the rebar in there. And I could not walk on a wall. Like I realized I'm now scared of heights.
Yeah.
I used to know how to do arborical,
really?
an arborist stuff.
Yeah,
I used to
yeah.
climb trees. Man, I've like lost it. But they're just like walking back and forth like it's nothing, and I'm like balancing with my rod. All right. Okay. Family centeredness. So it's okay. But your wife was like, it makes you happy. I like it. You're proud of what you do. She's probably proud of it too.
Yep.
Sebastian's not married. That's why we're not asking about his wife.
Yeah, not married yet.
You're right. You got to get him one.
Yep.
All right. Income, 80%. So it's good income.
Yeah. Not for this guy.
No, for a
I'm
single guy,
joking.
no, it's just fine.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
you're getting by. You're getting by.
Yeah.
All right. Can I just ask this? I'm not going to create any tension here, but is there a time where you just have to like move up, like laboring versus does the company grow?
Yeah, you definitely. Yeah. You
So to
have
keep
to.
guys like him.
That was one of the first questions I asked him was, is there room to grow?
Yeah.
And if I start working with you, am I going to move up? Am I going to
Yeah.
yeah.
Lean into the mic some more.
Not only become more skilled, but just
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So
So,
there's room.
yeah,
That can
oh,
grow.
yeah,
And if
absolutely.
you have the right people, you're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So your income 80%, you're good. Ease of entry. This was a big one. 92%. Like it's pretty easy to like.
Yeah, I think you can get on a job pretty easily.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
to be able to get your master plumber's license, you have to have 2 years.
Yep.
Or even to get a plumbing license to have
Yep.
a company, you got to be 2 years apprentice.
you don't have to be certified to do framing. I don't think
Nope,
you don't have
not-
to. Yeah.
not
I think
here.
that's the point. Is it
Not-
makes
not
it
here.
easier. That's my son Peter is looking into septic systems.
Yeah, yeah.
You can make about as much as a plumber, except it doesn't require the 2 year. He's so anxious to get to work.
Yeah.
It's not like there's hundreds of people going, I want to install septic.
Yeah.
But it's a super clean job, actually, because you're not
Well,
pumping, unless you get into pumping.
Yeah.
That's some money, man. When you need a septic tank pumped, how much does it cost? Doesn't matter.
Yep. You got to get it
They can
done.
charge you whatever.
That's right. All right. Ease of entry is 90%. So that's what he did. That's the rating. That's pretty high.
That's pretty good.
I'd say it was pretty accurate.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty accurate.
So if that's the case, then is like, what's the barrier? Do you think of more people kind of taking y'all's?
Like, did you
Happy
mean
round.
what's the barrier in terms of just people flooding and doing carpentry?
Well, I guess, and maybe I'm just projecting this, but it seems that not a lot of people are really considering like a super viable option in there. Because I get, because of fraternities and stuff, I talk to a lot of like young men, like, I don't know what I'm going to do in my life. It's, and like the nebulous future is so scary because it's so unknown. And like, because they can do anything, they would like almost do nothing.
I mean, I would say some of like the kind of the barriers, like you were saying. I mean, you have to be a certain I think, disposition to do manual labor to begin with.
What's the disposition? What is it?
Well, what I mean, I don't know if I could put into exact words, but like you have to be okay with being dirty and, you know, being tired and being sore sometimes.
And
You have to be a man, is that what you said?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go with that.
yeah. Well, and I think you have to be naturally introspective too.
Okay.
I do. And honestly, speaking for the four of us that come to work every day, we're all melancholic.
Okay.
So, like pretty.
It's interesting because I'm in this deep dive hyper temperament. I think we're actually the next issue of Sword and Spades on the temperaments.
Okay.
So you think melancholy helps because you recognize, I don't know, the gravity of building something and the sort of a perfectionism to it?
Yeah. Or if you have stuff going on in your life, it's nice that you can just kind of calm down
And do the
go
work.
to work and you can think about it and you can chew on it and you can't be anxious about it.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever's going on, I don't want to say it's therapeutic because that sounds so cliche.
I think
but it is therapeutic.
yeah.
No,
Especially if you're working alone.
we
Yeah.
don't, No, we don't have to say therapeutic in a bad way. Say it is better for you to be doing something than doing nothing.
Yep.
And one of the issue, a melancholic wrote an article about kind of a. So you guys are melancholics. My wife's melancholic. I'm not. Can't relate to this.
I don't think I actually am. I think
Well, you've been judged and pegged by your
Yeah.
boss. So
Okay. I think
they have more. They have a penchant for being able to go down in their mind and their thoughts and
Yeah.
get dark really quick. And he worked at a factory, and something really bad happened, and so he's just there, just flipping the switch. That's not literally what he's doing, but pulling the lever all day, just going down.
Yeah.
Like his life, like his despair was just. And I think building something, because I know, the melancholic also likes, they can tend towards perfectionism. Like, I want to do this and do it right.
Yeah.
But it would be when people hear melancholy, they hear sadness, but it actually can just be gravity of what you're doing. Like you have a sort of graveness to it. All right. So the certain disposition, man, you got to be a man.
Sure.
Yeah.
Apparently you're a melancholic, or you better catch up with the cool
Yeah,
guys.
I guess so. I don't know. Never mind. That's a different talking point.
All right. So the barrier is just some people aren't disposed, and that's not. I don't know if that's necessarily a temperament thing. I would say a lot of people just aren't introduced to being able to do things. They don't know how to use their body.
Yeah. I mean, I was blessed to be able to have that exposure at an early age.
Right.
And we had a farm. I helped on the garden. I helped with our animals.
Yeah.
And my dad had a nice rule, which I appreciate now in retrospect, was that myself and my brother, we had to work to buy our first car. They didn't help us with anything. And we could either work at the farm or we could go and ride our bicycles to a different farm.
Yeah.
And work there. And so that's what I did.
That
And so
farm
it was
up and down-
nice.
Yeah, that farm up and down your road is a pretty big scale.
I didn't go to that big scale. I went to a private farm that was actually a little further up the road.
Okay.
And there was also 4 generations. No.
Oh yeah, you told me
I think
about
5
that guy.
generations
Yeah.
that lived there.
And they were mostly
There are 4 generations that lived there.
and they mostly farmed for their food. That was the purpose of it.
Almost all their food. They had chickens, they had cows. It was all
It's amazing how
self-produced.
people
And the grandfather would wake up at the crack of dawn
and just do
and
stuff.
work all day long. He was the spryest man, but that's besides the point. But I think I was able to have that ability to work hard and understand that.
Yeah.
Before.
No, there's a serious. So we had an issue on competency that you guys might enjoy, right there with the firewood, and it was about. There's really no such thing as self-esteem. This is, I don't know, Micro or one of these guys, but there's no such thing as self-esteem. There's only competency.
Yeah.
That to be told you're worth something is great, and it's true. You are worth something. But we're bodies and souls. Like we're intertwined with facts and realities in front of us. And when you learn how to do something, you gain the confidence of knowing how to do it.
Yeah.
And I have found with our kids, myself, my own life, that competency compounds. So once you learn how to do, once you know how to effectively understand a hammer, right? You're not grabbing it halfway up the handle, right? So your carpenter's left. And my dad used to always say, "Do you want me to cut that hammer off so it'll work right?" If I was holding it, to cut the end, because in case you don't know, you're supposed to, hold it at the end. So you've got the full extension of your strength, right?
Yeah.
But once you learn the principle of one tool or one project, the next one is so much easier, and the next one, and the next one, to where, there's these guys in their 60s. Like my dad's one of them. He can just look at something and know what's wrong and know what to fix.
Yeah.
And So when you say you have to have a certain proclivity or something to it, you were introduced to competency early on, because I have experience. We do different events on the farm sometimes, and college students come and they're not acquainted with how to use their body, let alone a tool.
Yeah.
And you give them a shovel, and we think about a shovel as this undignified work. But if you want to talk about a shovel being undignified, give it to someone who doesn't know how to use it. I mean, that's an offense to the shovel.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's, you know what I mean? It's hard to watch. So I'm just saying that I think people, one, exposing them to the idea and the potential of it. But if you have an encounter like you with 12, when you're 12 years old, you know, that incline a lot of people towards it. So I'm just saying, I think we have bodies. I think more people are capable of using them than we give credit for.
Yeah. That makes sense.
All right. No comment on that? Right.
No, I mean, no.
So, yeah, I mean, but that was my experience, but I also grew up around that sort of stuff. So here it is. When self-esteem is artificially generated, it becomes more easily manipulatable, a product of social technique rather than a secure possession of one's own based on accomplishments. Mm-hmm. So I can tell you this as a father, and you guys might be experiencing this in your profession now. When you're just trying to like tell your kid, like manufacture the value. Now they have a created value, right? A dignity that I can communicate through my love and my affection towards them. But they don't want to just grow up and go, so am I like even more special now? Mm-hmm. You know, they want to build something and go, look what I built. And they want me to go, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and that sort of pride and happiness that comes with that. It seems to be like, you know, what you guys are experiencing. So, all right. Well, here's some parting questions then for you guys. You're a Catholic now. You're still a Catholic.
Yeah. Nothing's changed for me.
Nothing's changed. No heresy in the last, no apostasy in the last week. How does that play out on the job site for you guys? Because one thing that we didn't bring up, I've been on a lot of job sites. They're not all holy places.
Yeah.
With Jesus's and Joseph's.
I don't know. I would say ours is, it's not a Catholic crew. It's not even a Christian crew. Okay. And yet we...
Except for 50%.
Yeah, 60%. Well...
80%.
Oh, yeah, good point. The poor one man.
Watching you do math.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, you can comment on it if you want.
No, finish your thought.
Okay. Well, no, I would say it plays out nicely. I mean, Cody and I, of course, you know, we'll talk about our faith on the job site and have conversations, and we'll talk with. There's another guy in our crew that we'll talk with occasionally. It's a little hard to talk with him, but he's still Christian. We still recognize that, and he exemplifies that very well when we're working with him.
You guys then probably, I mean, I'm just generally treat each other with some dignity and respect.
Yeah.
But still appropriate making fun of each other, right? Joviality.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We'll make fun of each other all
Mostly
day long.
Sebastian.
Go get the board
Yeah.
stretcher.
No. Yeah. Well.
Mostly
No.
Sebastian.
I don't fall for that.
That was ages ago. Yeah. What are the other ones? Board stretcher. You got any other ones?
There was. I think.
Cut me a sheet at 98.
There was one that y'all tried to play on me. I forget what it was. And I told you I knew.
Should we explain these though to people that are like? That's an old joke. Like
yes.
The board stretcher is go to the new guy. Go to the board stretcher.
Yeah. Go give me a left-handed hammer. That kind of thing.
The left-handed.
I never had those played on me.
Okay.
I think y'all tried to play one on me, but I've been
smart. Yeah, he was too smart.
Yeah. He went to high school.
Yep, he did.
Yeah.
Private high school.
Yeah. Scraped by.
And the sheet at 98 for the viewers, they come in 96-inch increments. Right. So if you get a greenhorn, you know, cut it at 98, and he'll look at you like you're stupid.
Yeah.
But,
and it's him that's stupid.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, I really appreciate it. We're gonna go play music in just a little while and have dinner. Like I'm happy for my kids to be able to ask you these same kind of questions, because I think there's a lot of people. You guys are just opening up something that's it's so practical and obvious, because you talk about community and local craft and like people go, oh, that's romantic, it's unrealistic. But I think the problem is it's so realistic they overlook it.
Yeah,
it's so obvious. You know, it's it's the nose right in front of them that they don't see. So thank you guys for doing so much for doing. I think that's what this great podcast.
Thank you.